Hi everyone, it's Lori-Lynn. Thank you for being here today. And today I'm going to be doing a two-pile reading, and it's going to be both about masculine and the feminine energies, and where you are sitting right now within those energies and what needs to transpire in order for you to move forward and onward. And so I've got two piles, and one is the green quartz, and the second pile is the it's calcite, peach calcite, and it's the pyramid. And we will do both the feminine and masculine energy. And if you like my channel, please subscribe. Please like my video, and if you want to send comments, please send me a comment on any suggestions. I have information in the description box below. And so we're going to start with the male energy within this reading, and that's the green calcite. So for pile number one, the masculine energy, first thing I'm going to say is energy is, we all can have within us male and female energy. Just because I'm female doesn't mean I don't have any masculine energy. I actually have worked with females that have a very masculine tone to their essence, and that's not saying that they are not female or that they're, it's just saying that they have a lot of tendency. It's within their culture, it's within how they were brought up. So I hope that made sense. So we're going to do on the feminine side, the first card that comes up is the Knight of Wands. And now what I'm understanding about this connection is that I believe that this person is running. On the other side, the masculine side is running. And so there seems to be a loss of control within the relationship, because he's not grounded. He needs to become grounded, and he's moving forward. And it really is seeming like he's doing so almost without a thought. And so and this could be in the past leading up to now, because typically that's the position it's at. But he is, it's almost like, I'll just bury my head in the sand and then it won't exist. And so he started to run, and there's also a sense of a push and pull within this. He'll run, and this is very typical of a twin flame connection, but he runs towards you. If you show any kind of interest, he pulls back. So it just becomes very frustrating. But he made this decision not based from a place of love. It even wasn't from a place of responsibility. He took this action without giving more thought to it, okay? And which led to the energy of just devastation, sleepless nights of, so whatever on the masculine side, whatever move that he presented, it was a move that really hurt you. And within this hurt, you've had a lot of sleepless nights trying to figure out, what did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? How can I change this? How can I nurture this? But you're needing to move past that Nine of Swords energy. And so that's just picking yourself up and knowing that this wasn't about things that you had done wrong. And it could have been things that you both did wrong. But you're constantly trying to think. But the point is, the main message is remember that decisions are made on both sides. And I think within this relationship, you might have both done that, running away, like there was just too much fear involved. And so making the decisions was based out of fear. And that just created just heartache and a lot of sadness. And the next card that comes up becomes more beautiful. It's the Six of Wands, and this is a card of victory. So where we had the Knight of Wands that just kind of ran as fast as they can, put their head down, and just, it almost reminds me of the analogy of, put my head down, you can't see me. If I can't see you, you can't see me. And your job at this point is to reconcile all of these challenges, which are represented by the swords. Even something that was done to you, then forgive that. Forgive that within. If it's, you know what, take the blame, the shame. Just know that everything we do always comes from a place of exactly where we are at this moment in time, of all the lessons that we've learned up until this point. And so if you can see that on both sides, you can see that you may both be really trying to move forward, really trying to connect. But rather than planning, there's been running. And so with the card coming up next of the Six of Wands is the card of victory. So working on that is going to bring you to a victorious state where you're really going to, again, if you look at this card, the horse's head is down. It's just like, just go, just go. And that's a blindly doing so. It's not. And here we have a horse that's proud. And so it's getting that sense of pride. So I'm hearing that the person is not very proud of what they did. So whatever it was they did, they're not proud of their actions. And very beautifully, the next card is the card of the Magician. And so for the feminine energy becomes an understanding, almost a renewal within the connection, because that whole, it's you both balance one another. And that's what's going to bring, what I'm noticing in this card is the cup that's on the table next to the pentacle. And so there are two sides to this, and that's, you know, it could have to do with finances and career, but it could also have to do with, you know, love and not really sure how to do it. But because there is a sense of a softer energy coming through, that to feel victorious is something that you get to own. And from that space is when you'll start manifesting and bringing in what you want. You have to change your perspective. You need to change your, the thoughts, and understand that what decisions were made on both sides, and those decisions were made from that place of where they were at, from the information that they were given. The next card that comes up is the King of Cups. So I think that we've now gone from, this guy that just ran away, just ran as fast as he could, as far as he could in the opposite direction. And then dealing with, you having to deal with, what did I do? How did I, why did I do that? Or, whatever. But the point is those were their issues. They weren't your issues. Those were their issues. And as the Magician, what you were really trying to bring forth is this King of Cups, is somebody that is loving and kind and offering you. He's got this offering right here within him. He's got this offering within him, and he's learning to balance his emotions, to understand, okay, what Spirit just said at this point is that he's ready to step in that water of emotions. I think this is a person that really honestly has hidden most of their emotions. So they're more action oriented rather than emotionally engaged, and you've made them feel emotionally engaged, and so they really weren't sure how to handle that situation. So that I have to do 1, 2, 3, 4. There's actually only 5. Okay, so I want to do 5. So that's for the feminine energy. It's much about patience at this point. So the masculine energy, and the first card that comes up is the 7 of Pentacles. So on the masculine, for the masculine energy, this is the planting of the seeds and, making way for, so you don't know this. So where they had ran away, or you felt that they had ran away, they did run away to an extent, and you left you dealing with a lot of things that you needed to deal with. But there was a sense that they became very related to this connection, and in doing so, they started planting those seeds, building up their repertoire, building up their business, building up their a lifestyle. I think they want to present to you the best possible. And in that energy, there also is a sense here, though, because 7s are much about knowledge, is that they are learning more and more and more about themselves and what their passions are and what they really truly want to do. So the next card that comes up is the Queen of Swords. And so on their side, they actually do believe that you made the decision to leave. That was part of your role, and you just said, if you're not going to, then you're going to leave. And it could also represent, I don't think so, because that's not what Spirit's saying, but it could also represent a fact that you may have been in a relationship prior to this, that you may have been with somebody or attached to somebody. It's kind of the word that I'm getting. And that you've just freed yourself, and literally you did free yourself rather than, them do the other side within your relationship. This was your work, because what you truly wanted was to begin living a life that was based on honesty and not on fear. And so with that, I think that they may have felt a lot of pressure to be something or someone that, they're not just quite feeling ready for it, but we'll see as we continue on. Yeah, so the next card is the card of the Emperor. So they really want to present to you a figurine. I'm getting the feeling, Spirit just said that this has something to do with a father figure, and I believe it's a father figure on your side, but that can be, just take it as it could also be a sibling or something, but this is somebody that they really look up to. And I think that kind of what the problem is they're feeling that they can't compare themselves, that they can't step into those shoes, that in a sense that they're not quite worthy of you, and they have to recapture that themselves. The masculine energy is really trying to put in the masculine energy to stand up, to step up, to make choices, to be honest, to be a leader. And so they are working on that. And the next card perfectly is the Tower. So when the Tower comes out, and after the Emperor, so what they're realizing is that finally now, I'm only saying finally because it's like this relationship, I believe, has been going on for quite a while, and that they just realized that they had work to do themselves. And so within that work is really going to come a tumbling down of things that I think there was people that were not giving them good advice. I think they sought out the wrong people. They sought out the wrong friends. They perhaps their world seemed to come crashing down on them. And the importance within the card of the Tower is that the Tower is based on very secure structure. And that secure structure itself can rebuild. So when the Tower card appears, it's asking you to release all of what needs to be released, just to let it go, to get rid of it, and to rebuild from the place of love, rebuild from where rebuild towards where you want, where masculine energy wants to be. And so there's one final card, and that card is, oh, very interesting, is the Knight of Pentacles. So there is so much here about, in regards to value and how they value their self-worth. And it also may reflect on how they believe that you value their self-worth. And so they really want to move forward with strength and with an offering. And they want it to be a solid foundational offering. Okay, so let's look into the Osho meditation, and let's get some clarity on the feminine side of the Knight of Wands and how that can be helped. Okay, so the Knight of Wands, this is the card when we were talking about that they were running. And what this was to teach them, and it comes up as the Shaman of Courage. So rather than delving deep within and discovering that courage, they ran. And so that's a huge part of their lesson that they need to learn. The Shaman of Courage is really working towards building up their strength, building up their courage, building up, turning around and saying, building up and becoming responsible or accountable to what they really wanted to ask or what they really wanted to say rather than running from. And so the next card, which was the Ten of Swords, and this is trusting in Source. This is connecting with the divine, with the divine energy, I would say the sun. Connecting with clarity, with a brand new clarity, and asking, like, the female side, the feminine side is really needing to reconnect with Source, with the Creator. Understanding that the lessons learned, understanding that all of this pathway was necessary for your relationship to evolve. You had many lessons you needed to work through, to draw from. And so when you're turning them around, seeing a different perspective of them. Okay, so the card of the Six of Cups, which is the Victory, and wow, perfect. So it's the card of the Dance for Reconciliation. So that's pretty cool. So you do have this work on the feminine side to work through this, runner energy, connecting with Source, reconnecting with the truth inside. So much of swords are based on what is that truth. Like, it's almost like seeing things, just feeling so hurt and not understanding that their intention was not to hurt you. Their intention was to protect you from what? It's, if they can realize that they didn't need to protect you, that what they needed to was come forward for you. And so once you've reconnected with Source, you are now going to feel victorious. There's going to be a matter of victory, and that's when a reconciliation can come. But no, it's not going to be something that happens overnight. It's going to take a while, and that's why it's the Dance for Reconciliation, because it's going to take some time to do. It just means there's still going to be a little bit of back and forth, like trial and error, and really becoming comfortable until excuse me, until you are feeling comfortable within the relationship. So the next card that, I got a funny card in here that doesn't belong in here. The next card that comes up with the Magician, that clarifies the Magician, is the card of the Ancestor of Boundaries. Wow. Okay, so with that card clarifying the Magician, this is really being clear about what your boundaries are and what you are willing to accept, be willing to take. Forgiveness is a wonderful attribute, but don't be a pushover. And so you have ancestors that are behind you, that are leading you on the pathway so that you create those boundaries. You set up those boundaries. You make clear decisions, and you know why you're making your decisions. And you're also not making them from a place of being stubborn, because you're moving out of the stubborn energy. So that last card, which was the King of Cups, okay, it's very interesting, and it is the Hunter of Vision. And so I do believe that comes with the King of Cups is you actually know. So you're feeling, you're asking yourself. I have a very keen insight that this is much about you looking back at those decisions that either side made and see who is accountable for what decisions. And this isn't about blame and shame and guilt. This is just about accountability, and then accountability on your side. And so that as you move forward, being the Hunter of Vision, and he's got a bow and arrow in his hand. And so know your target, know your vision, what you want, and know that this is what you want, this King of Cups. And shoot towards that. Don't run away from it because you feel a certain, maybe that you've been let down or whatever, however you're feeling. Don't let that. Remember, being the Hunter of Vision, you know what your target is, you know what you want. So on the masculine side, and the first card was the Seven of Pentacles, which is all about gaining the knowledge in order to grow, to plant the seeds. And the card that comes up is the Shaman of Sorrows. Sorrows. So on the masculine side, they really are reflecting, and they're really in a lot of pain, is what I'm going to say. They're in a lot of pain because they understand, they realize that, from the next card, that the decision that you made was based off of their actions. And so when they realize that, there's no more blame. There can only be accountable to that. And so that's where they're heading towards. So rather than, they're going to go deep within themselves in order to reflect. So the Queen of Swords is clarified by the Ancestor of Protection. Quite interesting, because the Queen of Swords made that decision, and that was the feminine side made this connection, this commitment to let go, to release, and just say, you know what, I've done what I could. I had to move forward because you were not making any moves, you weren't doing anything. So you really need to okay, Spirit doesn't want you to go back into a relationship that was not working. And I don't, this isn't with the twin flame, but this is a relationship or a past relationship that you weren't working. It's like the things that didn't work for you, don't go in that direction. Go in the direction of what works for you. And so protect yourself from that. And there's going to be protection on both sides. So you have to have a give and a take, and an understanding, being compassionate and empathetic. So the Emperor, the card that clarifies this, is the Dancer of Friendship. And so I think that's where it needs to start. I think they have this terrifying view that because they rather don't believe that what they have is enough to offer you. It has to start at a friendship level, because you need to get to know each other better again. It's like there's actually a card in one of the decks, and it is getting to know one another and having a heart-to-heart conversation. And that's perhaps what this is about, is becoming friends, just kind of chatting, talking, not too much pressure. It's just that level of, and that's to do with the boundaries, that level of comfort and safety. And that's what's needed at this moment. So the next card, which was the Tower, is clarified by the Ancestor of Skill. So that's saying to me, is this change that's come forward, is that they've had a lot of change that's had to go on. It has had to transpire and release. And as they're doing so, they're actually learning much more about themselves and what's important to them, and understanding new skills or more skills, understanding that their gifts come from... Okay, Spirit also just said that there's also a fear base in there. There's something in regards to that really scares them. I'm not sure what it is, but it may have to do with a skill that you have, but that's just a secondary, okay? So that Tower moment, I think that was that fear within them, and so they've had to go back and really re-understand and reapply themselves. So with the Knight of Pentacles, that card is clarified by the Hunter of Mysteries. Kind of cool. That, and actually very interesting, because the card is depictive of somebody offering as well. So the Hunter of Mysteries, and that's is that I don't think that the masculine side really ever believed that this true love, or however it was. I think that they had these areas within their life that people really did not sorry, I'm having a thought process right now. But people did not, they don't know what it's going to lead to. They don't know how it's going to lead that way. They just know that they want to move forward and to re-energize the connection. And so that has to remain a mystery at this time. So the next cards that I'm going to pull are cards in regards to the on the feminine side again, but messages for the feminine side. The first card that comes up is Ageless Beauty. And the card says that with grace, dignity, and strength, I grow into the unique texture of my feminine soul. And so that's asking you to be far more gentle, more compassionate towards yourself, understanding your creative power of as I meet my own creative potential, like living up to your potential. And perhaps this is Spirit might have intertwined in on this, because they don't want you to leave behind your dreams and your goals, which you may have done so in the past. Yes. And the place to go for that peace is within yourself, because within our heart is a sanctuary, and that's where we connect to peace, inner quiet, and comfort. So you're really needing to really fall back into your own power, and not be swayed by another's power, another's idea of peace. It's your idea of peace, and that peace is connected through your connection with the divine. Okay, so on the male side, the message is redirect, reevaluate the goals, redefine your work, and redirect yourself. You've been preparing long enough. So, make your dream a reality now. There's no time like the present. So this person is someone that perhaps as a child, they really they might have been put down. They had issues that they faced that really kind of took them off their pathway, yet they really know what that is. And so it's time to redirect and get back on that path and connect with people. But when you're connecting with people and redirecting yourself, you have to do it with confidence. So that's what they're learning to do at this time, is to connect with people that nurture their soul, that help them grow on their soul's journey. The next card is give your gift. Your creation is not yours and yours alone. It's a gift to give to others, because it's the gift that God gave you. So they really have a gift within themselves that they need to share. They're being encouraged to share, as well as empowering their thoughts and dreams. I do believe that you have a 5D connection, and so that would be in the spiritual realm, that being twin flames. We're all creative and blessed with imagination, and all dreams and wishes and intentions begin within the imagination. So empower those thoughts and dreams to come true. Make them come true. Create them. And so that's what they're being asked to do, or the pathway that they are most needing to turn towards. And so we're going to do the Romance Angel cards. 3 cards to see. I need to do this one. So for the 2 of you within this direction, this is the uniting energy, and it's trust. Trust that this relationship is one that is divinely inspired, and it's calling for you to have faith, okay? The second card that comes up is letting go of control issues. And in doing so, you have to allow what Spirit is asking from you, and to allow the situation to unfold. They have lessons to work through. If you've worked through lessons faster, then you need to allow them to work through their lessons. It's important. There also is another card of religious factors, which to me would come in perhaps because if you are still in another relationship, that may be something that could, in fact, be an issue for them. And if that's the case, that's a conversation that needs to happen. And the final card here, which is really adorable, it's make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. And it's children. So this kind of reminds me of the 6 of hearts, because it's a love that you knew as a child, that you've been wanting and waiting and trying to move towards. Okay? And so what messages do you have for them? Oh, yes. Yes. You want to know yes or no? Yes. This relationship is worth the effort. I feel the same way. That's a nice message to have. Oh, and love me. Okay. And the messages on the masculine side are definitely. So we have a yes and a definitely. And the next card is you are right. You are right. So there may have been masks that have been worn within this relationship, and they're really trying to work through those blocks. And the final card is, what do you want? And I'm going to say that's not really a fair question, because it's them that's really being clear. So it's almost that they're asking because they want you to feel more, they want to know what the answer is going to be. So I'm going to do some messages. Oops, that's pretty loud, the box. So I'll just pull out a couple, and the one that fell on the floor. These messages. So there's only one message on the masculine side. Oh, They are missing you. So if you're wondering whether or not they're missing you, they are. Their message is, my mental health is struggling. And so they really are missing you. You have more messages for them. Oh, your message, first message is, I know I let you down. And that could be from something that transpired, that they took a different way than what you wanted to. So you do feel that you let them down. And there seems to be insecurity on both sides of this pile. And the next message is, why do you need me? So they may not know and need to clarify that. And once clarified, you want them to know, I miss you. Okay, so there is, and I haven't moved on. So there is a lot of love within this connection. There's a lot of healing within this connection. There's a lot of unresolved situations or experiences, because I really do feel that there was masks that were worn out of fear. And so because of that, it needs to be healed before this can move forward. So you really, at this time, it will take as long as it takes. That's the way it works. And it's to allow for them their own part of their journey. Okay? And so that's the messages for pile number 1. Let me just put these decks, bring them all back. So if you liked the messages, or if anything resonated within you, just let me know, leave a comment. Like and subscribe, and I'm working on doing a giveaway coming up soon, because I really want to reach 1,000 subscribers. I have a few more to go from there, but I do want to reach 1,000 subscribers, and that's my goal at this point. And so I actually want to meet max 22,000, but I got started at 1,000. So okay, time 37:47. And it's the peach Flourite. So welcome group 2 and the peach Flourite. Here we are. Again, we're doing, this is masculine, feminine energy, and what we're working through, or what you're working through, and any blocks or messages that Spirit wants you to know within this relationship. Okay, wow. Okay, so on the feminine side, you have been carrying around a lot of burdens, a lot of, you've been doing a lot of hard work. This is the 10 of Wands, and it's depicted very different in all cards, but it's really a heavy load, and you're almost exhausted. So the simplest thing to do is you need to put down those wands, and it's perhaps you need to analyze why you've made the choices that you've made, like taking the steps that you've taken, to see that you don't have to carry around certain things that you've done that have created mistakes, or you believed you've made them. You've taken action for yourself, because you're going, and you're doing that. There's no question, because the next card is that of the High Priestess. So you're moving out of this energy of the 10 of Wands into the energy of the High Priestess, and the High Priestess is one that sits in intuition and sits in a knowing. So there is, even when we make mistakes, it's almost like people think I made a mistake, so, forever I'd be wrong, or forever I'd be damned, or whatever, the thing is. But intuition tells us often, sometimes we need to make a mistake in order to see the better, or in order to move forward, in order to change our path. So that's what you're learning, is to start trusting your intuition, and just seeing the beauty in all of the situation that's come out of this connection. So the feminine energy is very highly attuned, very, very highly attuned. The next card that comes up is the Page of Cups. And so the Page of Cups is presenting. It's funny because for me, I see the Page of Cups as somebody that offers quite foolishly, but very, very romantically. But they also do so with a sense of humor. And so that's what's, you may be on different pages on that, how maybe they're showing it, but that's how they're going to show it to you. Express their love to you is through some sort of a romantic gesture that includes humor. Holy shit. Sorry, I don't think I'm supposed to say that on. So the next card is the Hierophant. So we have the High Priestess, and we have the partner to that as the Hierophant. So you actually are very highly evolved peoples. You'd be a power couple. There'd be no question about that. You both have a lot of really incredible, okay, I get it. A lot of really incredible gifts. There's also a lot of major arcana in here. And the final card is the Chariot. So it's taking back the control, because what you know to be true can be brought to fruition as you move forward, and as you start accepting things for each the way they are, every situation, every experience, every challenge, every opportunity for what it is, okay? Now on the male side, oops, they're sitting in their eagle, as proud as punch, and it's the card of the devil, and the devil's all about about ego, and but they do have you, almost chained together. So rather than, listening from the heart, they are, the masculine side is really sitting inside their ego, because they really do not, in any sense of the word, feel that they are worthy of, they don't see themselves as this Hierophant at all, yet they do see you as this High Priestess. So that needs to change. That's where they're sitting at it right now, is they're really trying to work through this, right? Trying to work through their ego. Ego is one of the most challenging lessons to learn. I'd say temperance is the most difficult. And a lot of people that have had to have worked through it will attend to that. The devil energy is working with your ego and stepping outside of your ego to see the situation for what it's worth, for what it's really meant, and they are sitting in their that ego. That could also be a sense of, because it's on the masculine side, sitting in that ego would have come from a lot of figures that put them down. They just never felt good enough, and so they're learning to understand and re-understand and step into a different space as a different person, and what it's going to require is a ton of strength, and they do have that strength. Again, this is the first time I've noticed this, but it has the unity symbol on top, and again, this is a major arcana card, so this is about strength and them having to gather their strength and tame that ego, that pride, in order to move forward, okay? didn't shuffle, sorry. They have to tame that. And you can actually see within here is that how tame the, okay, the other part of that is that they see you as this incredibly beautiful person that can just like calm waters, that can do all these different things. And there's some sort of, oh my gosh, you have tamed them. You have changed them. And that part really probably scares them to somewhat. And because they were sitting in their ego, and once they've stepped out of their ego, now their tail's kind of between their legs. So it's kind of like moving forward, but they have, you know, because of that fear base that they had before, or their lack of self-confidence, they come forward with their tail between their legs, and they just want to work together within the relationship. The next card that comes up, wow, again, is the 10 of Swords. And so there have been sleepless nights for them. There has been they've looked back at all their decisions about their choices, and now they're seeing what they didn't do, what they did do, how they did it. And that causes them sleepless nights. It keeps them awake. It keeps them, you know, tormented to some degree. And so they have to work through that process. And that's the 9 of Swords. And the next card that comes up is the Magician. So stepping outside of that, just because I'm stepping outside of that energy, will help open up their heart space, their intuition, and almost a sense of it's a new beginning, and it's a starting fresh. So this isn't about you know, hanging on to things, but it's realizing that what happened in the past happened in the past. Now we get to start all over again. And so, you know, on the feminine side, when we talked about the Chariot and taking control, this is sort of them doing the same thing. So you're both kind of on a same pathway journey, but they're learning to put their energy in the place that they want to, and not be so hard on themselves, and not be so difficult on choices that they've made, and just see them, and then start have this positive or optimistic outlook. And that's what's going to bring you towards manifestation. And so the next card that comes up is the 3 of Cups, which is a card of celebration. And for them, it is a celebration of sorts. I think I said this prior to, I'm not really sure whether it was in this reading, but I get this feeling that they really did not know, or did not, they were almost more surprised. With the connection. I almost get the feeling that they're not wanting to interrupt your, they almost think that they're going to interfere on your good times. Okay, but I also believe that, as I was saying that, this is what Spirit said, is that you're going to come together again, and it's going to be at a celebration. There's going to be some sort of celebration that's coming up. And that's where and when you will, I'm going to say, challenged with, you know, this newness of both of you, because you've been working on this thing. And there will be that celebration, and for you it's taking control, and everybody has to be on, I'm not going to say on their best behavior, but everybody has to know the outcome, and become very truthful in what you're wanting, rather than running, or rather than avoiding putting down that load. So the card that clarifies the 10 of Wands is the Shaman of Foresight. And so with that card being the clarifying card within the Ten of Wands, is about understanding that all of the actions that you took were all meant to teach you, all meant to teach you, all meant to move you forward, all meant for change within your psyche. And so you do know that you needed to go through that part of the journey. The card that comes forward with the High Priestess is the Shaman of Reflection. And so what that card is saying is that you can look back, because you do have this deep sense of intuition, but you can look back and see how within this connection you have mirrored each other. That's because you're twin flames. And so it's quite common that you will. So many of your journey, avenues of journey, pathways of journey have been self-reflective of one another. Okay, so wow. So with the, this is cute, with the Page of Cups is the ancestor of illusion. So I said before is where they think that they're this Prince of Cups. That's just an illusion. It really is that I don't know if they've ever experienced this before. I think I said that in the last reading as well. It seems to be a common theme right now, or haven't expressed it in a long way, but they were almost in this fun, creative way, but they're doing it to mask how they really feel that they are the Hierophant. And so moving to the next card, okay, the Hierophant is the Dancer of Friendship. And so in order to move this connection forward, it's going from this place of illusion to becoming friendship again, friends again. Seeing it in a brand new way, seeing it in from the perspective of getting to know one another truly. Okay, taking that time to do that, just getting to know each other. And the Chariot, the card that comes into that, is the Hunter of Strength. So when you do come together at this party, or however it works, gathering, it's going to take you a lot of strength to keep that control. The Chariot is focused on where they want to go, how they want to go, and they're going to steer right towards that, and that's going to take a lot of courage. You have the courage, and you are being guided through Spirit, guided by Spirit, in order to just ask Spirit, and they will assist you with your decisions. So the card that, kind of funny, the card that clarifies the Devil is the Ancestor of Protection, which would be really, really good, I would say. And so the Ancestor of Protection is has shown up to help them move forward. They want to feel safe. Often when we're children and growing up, that when we feel off keel, or we feel, when we've been put down, or it's been, somebody within their life has treated you poorly, at this point, they need to know that they are being protected. And that's really important to make the next step of strength. And the card that comes in here is the Ancestor of Hope. And so understanding that as they move forward and grow in strength, that will give the connection the hope that they really truly want, that they have worked towards, and clarifying it more for them. And so seeing that there still is hope, okay? And so the Sleepless Nights, which is the Ten of Swords, the card that comes is the Shaman of Stars. Woohoo! Perfect. So what that is really saying is that, their guides are so much with them, and saying, look, we all make mistakes. we all have things that we've done that perhaps that we're ashamed of, or that we're angry with ourselves of. But they're trying to show them that the journey that they were led on, or that they took, part of it was out of ego, and they have this magnificent shine within them. And so as they were trying, it's almost like they tried too hard or didn't try the right way. So it's time to now change the way they're trying, and to really present to the world who they actually are, outside of the fear, outside of the ego. And the card of the Magician is, card of the Magician is the Hunter of Death. And so as that moves forward, as they see that they're able to manifest, as they see as they're learning to let go of all of those, say, illusions, or those times where they made these decisions that were not the greatest, or that they just thought were bad decisions, and they decided to learn, that ego side is going to die a death. Ego will just be something it brings confidence. It brings, and there's a difference between confidence and living in your ego. So there's going to be a death of the ego that has kept them stagnant, or put into a place where they really don't want to be. They want to be together. They don't want to be sitting in the area of ego. Okay, so with the celebration, and the card comes up, a spirit of destruction. And if you ever listen to me talk, it's one of my favorite cards, because what the spirit of destruction is about is similar to the card of the Tower, but it's order to rebuild, you need to destroy what you knew before, the lessons that you kept in your head, that kept you backtracked in where you're at. And so you need to, or they need to, get rid of all of that, so they now are moving forward with a clearness of a clarity within the mind. Okay, so on the feminine side, we have messages, 3 messages from the Women's Oracle. And the first message is, quiet nourishes me. And so this does seem to be a period of quiet. And so understand and know that right now, right here, is the most important place to be. And that's what Spirit's asking you, is to take that as an opportunity when you have time to be alone, to spend time alone. But they also don't want you to stop doing what you're best at. Whatever your goals are, also know that when you go into reflection, is to know that all your, oh my gosh, your dreams are all coming forward. The next card is shining bright. And that's where the quiet, because you need to go back to that place where you do shine, where that light shines within. Your inner light shines and allows your creative process to burn brightly. So I think you're both also on paths in regards to work. That seems to be something that is pretty clear here, in only because that's what I just heard. And so being pretty clear that your stars are needing to shine, your stars are needing to align. We had Shaman of the Stars, and then we had Shining Bright. And so I had to do 2, sorry. The next card is Uniquely You. So where you perhaps, I am not going to say in any way, shape, or form that you dislike who you are, because I don't believe that's the case. I think that you do understand yourself and who you are, and I think you've learned to love yourself and to start listening to your intuition. And so at this point, I honor the truth and surrendering, as it opens me up to gifts of divine grace. Okay, so that card was next, and it just seemed very much so. And this is all about honesty, truthfulness within, connecting to that spirituality, connecting to just surrendering just surrendering to the journey, the path, rather than pushing and having to move it forward. Okay, so on the masculine side, lessons, messages. Oh my God. First one is revelation. Wow. Listen to your life. The right path will reveal itself. Whoa. Okay. Super important, because I said that I believe that so much of this is involved with, it may involve with some sort of specialized work that you both may do. And having said that, it's come to the revelation that you both may be able to help one another grow and become like together, but uniquely together as well. Like, so it's individually and uniquely together. I'm not sure if that makes sense. The next one, they need to be proactive. They have a block. This is a huge block for them. And it's a financial block. I believe that they were brought up with very defined roles. And again, part of them, if they're, relationships shy, it may be because of finances. And so the necessary first step towards creation of wealth and abundance is to know that you are worthy of financial security. So that's what they have to know. I really believe that this ego energy was stronger than they were for quite some time. And the longer it sits within us, often the longer it takes to balance. Okay, so the next card is Tune Up. Your mind is a miraculous machine. So here we're talking about being proactive, and this is saying stick to all your regimes. Improve upon your self-talk, improve upon your dieting. You may have to improve upon, if you have any kind of addictions, and addictions can go from anywhere from being angry with ourselves or putting ourselves down to smoking or eating too much or whatever all that's about. But it's time now for them to tune up their body to be as healthy as possible rather than just being stagnant. Ooh. And the final card, listen, I have to do two again. Sorry, this is very interesting because the next card that comes up is Love You. Begin every day by telling yourself something nice. Empower your mind throughout the day with positive thoughts. Take every possible opportunity to love yourself. And this is for them. And they really need to know that they are loved and worthy. And they need to be outside of that ego energy. And it's coming. And the final is the original. Explore their true talents. Don't copy or pass yourselves off as others. Own your own right. Your own right. You don't need to be like somebody, or they don't need to be like somebody. Perhaps that's what they're doing, is they're trying to be like, someone else that may be famous. Or I always say, it's awesome to have, and in my teachings I do a class on role models and leadership. And role models and leadership isn't about becoming that person. It's taking the traits that resonate within yourself and incorporating that into who you are, your own personal. What's required, the energy that brings together, is the first card is playfulness. And so that there needs to be a sense of in order to recapture that romance, you need to both allow like your inner youthfulness to shine again, just to be really playful and having fun and enjoying one another and learning. This relationship really does deserve a chance. There's a lot of chemistry, and it's very connected spiritually, but there's a lot of there's a lot of opportunity within this, very much shown by the Hierophant and the High Priestess. And I believe I did mention there might have been an ex or whatever, and this is saying release your ex. You know, if you're still connected, perhaps they don't know. Perhaps that, you know, you're really needing to clear that energy. Maybe there needs to be a conversation over that. And so the final card, I was only doing 3, but I'm doing 4, is forgiving and learning. And that's what's really important as you work through all of the messages, or all of the challenges and opportunities, is to forgive and to keep learning and understand why things happen. Because this isn't about blame. I typically don't, I forgive very easily, and I forgive and forget if you've changed. But I don't forgive and forget if you haven't. If you haven't made steps to change, then you know what, I just don't need to be a part of that. So messages on the feminine side. I would do anything for you. I can sing that. I'd do anything for you, babe. I love that song. Oliver. Oh my God. Okay, this next card is I want to start a family with you. That would be a power family. That'd be kind of cool. So this person really does love you. They really want to. We'll find out what their messages are, and what holds them back, because they really couldn't be any more obvious than that, is that they want to have sex with you. That's, sorry, I don't mean to laugh. But that's, they think about it a lot. They just don't know how to move into that energy. The next one is definitely. And let's see if we can get one more. You are right. Perfect. So all your feelings, all of your thoughts and ideas, they're all true, and it's just a matter of working towards that. Keeping your eyes on the prize, surrendering to the truth. So messages from their side to you is your family won't like me. I think that comes from their past, and because what they experienced in their family, because what transpired within their family, that fears them. So that's what they have to release in order to move forward, to become comfortable with that. And the next card that comes up is Miilo. I lie awake at night thinking about our future. So they really are putting a lot of thought into this, a lot of time and effort into it. And now they're unsure, do you even care? So they need to be accountable, and I don't think they're being accountable yet, but they're trying. There's a lot of blue. They're trying to really move into this revelation and to change, to adjust, and to know, to believe in themselves that you that you are committed. They as well want to have sex with you. So this is quite a relationship that that needs to come together. They'll just do the work and come together, and they're waiting for you. Okay, so that's what I have. Oh, no, I don't. I'm a liar. Just a couple cards. A couple further messages from Spirit in the pile. And the masculine's out. Oh, okay, so they may have been involved in a relationship during this time, or got involved in a relationship, and it says it was only a rebound. So it was something that they were, I'm going to say, blaming you for doing, and so they connected with somebody else, and it was a rebound. Oh, and again, the same one came here. You know what? And I do. It's my mental health is struggling. I think that there is a sense of sleepless nights. Oh, there was that card, the sleepless nights. That's what this is about, is that they know this, that it was only a rebound. They don't know how to say that. They don't know how to tell that. And so that keeps them awake at night. That's that mental struggle that they're struggling with, you know. So until they come to terms with it and be honest about it, until they're honest with themselves, they can't be honest with you. So what are your messages to them? Oh, would you wait for me? Would you please wait for me? That's what you're asking. Like, you have work to do too, but you're way closer than they are. And whatever transpired, the disconnect between these two, with these burdens that you're carrying around and putting them down, but you say, do you hate me? And, you know, first of all, I say, do you want to wait for me? And then you're saying, do you hate me? So perhaps they're getting mixed messages, and they just want to clarify what's going on. But I also think that you're going back into perhaps this relationship that they were on, and that created a lot of burden on you because you wondered what it was. And so the final message is, you're the only one that I want. And so that's pretty clear. I do believe this is a divinely guided connection. There's no question in my mind that it is, and that there's a lot of work that needs to be worked through. It can actually be worked through together very easily because of the relationship. You two have a soul bond, and that having a soul bond within a relationship means often that the connection is has predetermined avenues that you need to go through. It's like choices that you made just to make sure. And so, not just to make sure, what? Just to understand that you are meant to be together, okay? So that's it for the video. I thank you very, very much for being here. Again, if you like my channel, subscribe, pass it along to anybody you that may be interested in, and like the video, and God bless. Namaste. And thank you to everybody that's always helping me, like my friend Sherry Bowman, Freedom's Wind, my girlfriend Signe, who's always giving me, bringing up new rocks and new ideas. And there's also a place called Jacob's Trading that I get rocks from as well, and they're just an amazing group, and they've done a lot for me, helped me out a lot in my journey, and I've always been grateful to them, and I always will be. Okay, so that's all I got for today, so thank you very much. Have an incredible day. Take care.